So here's a point of time, a connection, a balagan, call it what you want. Today's Saturday, and we just watched the end of the Eurovision Song Contest. The Eurovision Song Contest is the most important song contest in Europe, arguably one of the most amazing music festivals in the world, where every country in Europe sends a song to this contest. They send a song by country, not by the performer. And this year, Israel showed up at the Eurovision Song Contest. We show up every year. We're a major player in this. But this year we showed up not just with a voice or a melody. This year Israel showed up with a story, with a testimony, with a trembling ray of unbroken light in the darkness. And that's the Balagan connection for today. The darkness on the outside, the ray of light from the inside, and how God kind of brings all of this together. So let's drop in. The Israeli performer is a girl named Yuval Raphael. She's 24 years old, and she stood up before millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of people, and sang a song written by another Israeli called A New Day. It was a song about a new day, about hope. But what made this moment so unforgettable wasn't just the song, it was her. She's a survivor. And if you want to go in, check it out, Yuval Raphaeli was at the Nova Festival on October 7th of 2023. It was a festival of a celebration of life and music and joy. And let's make it clear, by the way, this was not a religious, traditional festival. This was something very, very different. And while they were dancing and while they were all drinking and whatever, all hell broke loose. The Hamas terrorists stormed the field, and they actually orchestrated the attack on the 7th of October because they knew that these young kids were there. There was a couple of thousands of them there, literally on the border with Gaza, and we didn't believe it was going to happen. That's a whole story in itself. And when she says, when the firing started, she ran and hid with a couple of her girlfriends. They hid in a bush, but that wasn't any shelter, and they kind of made their way out to the road, and they kind of went into a bomb shelter. Now, in that part of the country, every bus station, every stop, every place has a big concrete bomb shelter that is meant to be a place where you run into if there's a rocket coming in. And they thought that was going to be a safe place. So her, and it turns out probably about 30 other people actually piled into the bomb shelter literally on top of each other. I mean, the bomb shelter is about 10 foot by 6 feet. I mean, that's how big it is, maybe a little bit more. It doesn't have a door, it doesn't have a barricade. It's got this zigzag so shrapnel doesn't come in. But her and those 30 people were hidden in there thinking that it was safe, and it wasn't. And she tells the story of literally laying under people. The terrorists who had free reign for a couple of hours in the area would walk by the bomb shelter, hear noises inside, throw a grenade inside, and who gets killed, and continue on. I can't imagine. I can imagine at least part of it, but I can't explain how horrific this is. This was real-time hell on earth. She was hiding underneath, and the floor was soaked with horror, and she stayed silent for hours, hoping that somebody would come rescue, and somebody did in the end, hoping that this would end as quickly as possible. I can't really go into the details. It's about as bad as any living human experience can be. But here's the thing. Here's the connection. Here's the Balagan connection. A year and a half later, she's not hiding. She's not buried in fear. She's on the biggest stage in Europe in front of millions of people across the world, singing a song of hope, singing a song about a new day. But this is the Balagan connection. And let's see if I can tie a little bit more of this side of the connection into it. And in the Eurovision, every country has a panel of judges. They're like musical experts. They get to decide which performance gets more points and less points. And there's altogether 12 points. So everyone sings the song, and then the judges from each country, a panel of judges, decides how many points each song is going to get, and that's basically how the contest is run. But here's the thing: the Israeli song wasn't over impressive. They weren't all excited. I mean, there's wacko things going on there. If you want to watch something interesting, do it. And what I always find interesting is that if you want to know who's going to win and not, usually ask the bookies, the people who bet on these kind of events, and they gave the Israeli song after it got to the finals probably 12th, maybe 10th place at best. But the people and the regular people around the world were also allowed to vote. So after the judges give their vote, they open up this app and people can go in and vote for each country. You pay $1, I think, in order to vote. They make sure that people from the country that the song is, meaning somebody from Israel can't vote for the Israeli song, but you can vote for other songs, give them a vote, and they kind of tally up the votes. And Israel, a country that is under fire, a country that is under criticism. There was actually somebody who tried to break into the green room. There's people actually demonstrating outside. Israel, not because the judges loved the song, but because the people, the real people, the people all over the world, saw something that they couldn't ignore, and Israel came in second place. Literally a couple points from winning the contest. Nobody could believe it. And what I saw, we all saw, all Israel was ecstatic. I mean, look at in this terrible adversity, her singing after her terrible experience. This is so representative of who we are. And we saw hope for a new day. Outside, there's Palestinian protest. But inside, there is a Jewish woman singing about hope. And that really touched me. And while we're watching this, though, my watch buzzes. And then my phone buzzes. And then you open up the app, and it turns out that the Houthis in Yemen had fired a rocket exactly at that moment towards Israel, towards all of Israel, towards Tel Aviv, towards everything, including towards Modi'in. So we're on TV watching this amazing event, and my mom and her PJs has to scramble to the bomb shelter. And well, just a quick reminder, this is a ballistic missile. The missile goes up, and you have to find shelter, because even if the missile is intercepted, and this one was intercepted, we've intercepted 4 missiles in the last, I think, 6 days, okay, the debris can fall down in everywhere, and it's like the missile's the size of a bus, basically, and they are firing us while we're singing. And I can't help but say that's the paradox. We sing while we're being shot at. We dance while the sirens are going off. We live while death flies overhead. And then Yuval's song. She sings in English, she sings in French, and then I hear it. מים רבים לא יוכלו לכבות את האהבה, ונערות לא ישטפוה. That's Hebrew. So after the French and the English, she's got Hebrew. And I lean in and I say, wait a minute, I know that. Where's that from? And I look it up. And it's from the Song of Solomon. It's Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 7. And basically what it says is this: many waters cannot quench the love, neither can the floods drown it. She's singing biblical verses in the language that it was originally written in, on the biggest stage in Europe, while the rockets are falling on our heads and while the demonstrators are making slaughter signs outside. And at that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just a performance. This was prophecy on display. This is identity. This is defiant. This is standing tall before all of the nations. This is what we call in Hebrew, and a lot of people kind of sometimes have a problem with this. This is what we call Or Lagoim. Isaiah 42, verses 6 and 7 says this: I, the Lord, have called you, my people, you in righteousness. I will hold your hand. I will keep you and give you as a covenant to the people of the world, to be a light to the nations, to be O Lagoim. I will to open blind eyes and to bring out prisoners from the prison, those who sit in darkness from the prison house. A year and a half she was sitting in darkness, in the worst possible prison, freaked out. But here she is standing in front of all of the world, including those stupid Houthis who are firing the rockets from Yemen, and she is being a light to the nations. This is Israel. This is who we are. We're not here because of our power. We're not here because of our ability. We're not here because of anything. We're not here because we're amazing. We're not here because of anything else. We're here because of providence. We are the GKs. Now, I know that I've used this term before, but I want to kind of round it out a little bit just so you get a little bit of an understanding. I'm a PK, pastor's kid. I mean, preacher's kid, pastor's kid. You've all heard this. If you go to church, you know what it is. You know that the pastor's kids are the special kids in the family. You know that they're not always good. In many cases, we're the idiots. We do the stupid stuff, and I got to include myself in that. I walked away for many, many years from the faith of my father. But here's the thing. When you're a GK, you're loved fiercely. My mom prayed for me for 40 years, and I came back. But you're also hated intensely by everybody who wants to attack the head of the church, the pastor, or anybody else. You see, in the spiritual realm, being chosen isn't easy. Being part of the inner circle isn't a privilege. It's a pressure. It's not about the praise that you get, because we do get praise, and again, we are successful. It's about the purpose that we fulfill. We are chosen not because we're better, but because God had a plan. God had a covenant. And God uses us, the Jewish people, his chosen people, to play out the covenant, to play out the plan. He uses us to teach the world about his plan for all of us. He uses us to be a light to the nations, to carry the word of God. He used us to birth the Messiah, to be the root, the trunk that the Messiah comes from, to be a sign to the world that he keeps his promises, that the dry bones would come back, that the dry bones would walk out of the bomb shelter after everything and stand up and say, we are here. But it comes at a cost. That being chosen, being a GK comes at a cost. It means that the world would look at you and not understand who you are. It's going to look at us. Look at what's going on. The world doesn't understand it. Look at the demonstrations going on. Look what's going on in the colleges. Look at all the young people who have turned their backs to Israel. Look at some of the churches who have turned their backs to Israel. Being a GK means that the spiritual darkness will target you because you represent the light. It was Jesus himself, and if you want to think about it, the ultimate GK, that said it very, very plainly. He said, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. I don't know if I'm proud about that. I don't know if I'm worried about that. But we become the target for all of those who hate God. And the enemy hates the covenant. He hates the idea, the actual idea that God has a right or a plan to choose. He hates the idea that God has control. So he targets Israel, the visible reminder of that choice, the visible reminder of God's purpose, the visible reminder of the fulfillment of the prophet, of the promise. That's why we are unbreakable. We're still here. We're still singing. We're still building. We're still hoping. We still are rising up like Yuval from under the dry bones, from under the bodies, from under the fire, from under everything that we have gone through. We rise up because we are the GKs, and God is using us, just like my father used to use me in sermons, okay, to prove to the world or to show the world who he really is. But there's another Balagan connection that I want to make to this. Because if you're listening to this today, I want you to know that it's now not only about us. It's not just us. It's also about you. Because God is still choosing people. He's still calling for sons and daughters to come home. He's still adopting them into his realm. You don't have to be a Jew now. All you have to do is want to be a child of God, and you will take part in all of, well, the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with it. But most important, you will take part in the blessing of being a child of God. And if you're wondering where you fit in, if you're wondering who and how you connect to this, you might be a GK too. Because we in the world, we wonder. Not everybody, not all the Jews understand their purpose. Not all the Jews realize. I mean, there's a lot of hatred by Jews against Jews. I mean, look at some of the anti-Israel Jews or anti-Zionist Jews, okay? But I want to remind everybody, it's not only about history. It's not only about wars or politics or economy. It is about destiny. And today I was reminded that I'm a part of a people who have a role to play. We're supposed to be Or LaGoim. We're supposed to be light to the nations. And tonight, that light shone out across the world against all odds and even in a terrible adversity. So this is DaviD TaL. This is a Balagan connection. This is the connection I wanted to make. If you want to be a GK, reach out. There's a link below this movie. You can connect to us. Me and Christy are heading out to Minnesota for a conference. We'll be talking to pastors there. Please pray for me that I'll get everything prepared and that I will manage to convey what I need to convey there. Also, please pray for us. I don't know why I'm worried about this, but Minnesota has the largest Arab Muslim population of anywhere in the United States, and for some reason that's making me unquiet. I mean, I'm not afraid to go walk through the old city, the Muslim quarter in Jerusalem, but I'm kind of worried about walking through Minnesota, but maybe I'm wrong. In the meantime, Gihon Springs is doing some pretty amazing work. If you want to connect to that, check the link down below. We've been supporting widows that are going off, and we're raising money in order to send more widows to when I say widows, I mean the wives of soldiers, both most of them in reserve. One of them we met while we were in Israel. Go off on a fun day in a big, massive, very nice hotel in Israel. So if you want to be a part of that, we are supporting an organization that raises service dogs for soldiers and people with PTSD, if you want to be a part of that. Right now, we've just now purchased something like 35 high-end, very, very specialized backpacks for a paratrooper special unit that needed these backpacks, and their old ones were all torn and beaten up, and you can be a part of that. So we're actively on the ground doing all of these things in different places. If you want to play a role, if you want to serve, all you need to do is kind of reach out to Gihon Springs. If you want to support me and Christy, let's not forget there's no tourists in the area, and we do need your support. Go into the Gihon Springs website and say you want to support the Balagan Connection. And that's all I have to say for today. This is DaviD TaL. This is a Balagan Connection. I hope to see you soon in Israel.